So, revisions. Where do we start? Revisions are, I would say, well, they're a very normal thing inside any voiceover project, any creative project really, where the creative professional, so in this case me, provides a version, their take, shall we say, of the recording of the script, and you on the client side probably want some level of refinement, and that's normal. We do a little back and forth until we get exactly what we want. Sometimes I nail it in the first try, I'm proud to say, but there are plenty of times and plenty of sessions in which we of course need multiple takes. It's very normal, because my interpretation of how a script should sound is not necessarily the same as your interpretation, and there's very often a back and forth until we get exactly what we want. So how do I handle revisions? Well, more often than not, I'll generally do the first 1 to 2 revisions for free. I will not charge anymore. Generally speaking, when there's an active project, I try to make sure that I'm available. I'm in the booth. I'm in the booth anyway. It's not difficult for me to do that revision. So that's my should we say, my way of working. If there are more significant changes afterwards, so big changes in direction, big changes in the script, then at that point I might start charging. Generally speaking, I like to be generous, because typically it's just, it just sometimes requires a bit of work to get exactly what's needed. There are at times, however, in which, shall we say, my generosity has been taken for granted, and there was not a clear understanding that I'm not there to just record forever until you have 50 versions of the script. And that did happen once. Not 50 versions, thankfully, but it got to, I think, revision number 5, in which I had to put my foot down and say, listen, I will do this last one, but we need a clear understanding here that if there are going to be any more revisions, I will need to charge for it. And that, luckily, put the foot on the brakes, and that ended up being the last required version. This can be avoided by defining a clear idea of what it is that you actually want. If I have to go in and out of the booth many times to do this revision, that is time, and time is money, and we want to make sure that we avoid something like that. So generally speaking, I'll do a few revisions. I'm not fussy about that. I'm happy to do them for free, because it just seems like the right thing to do. But there are boundaries. There is a limit to how many you can request. And, it does depend on the revision and generally the kind of communication that happens with the client.